Question of the day. Is it possible to obtain financial freedom by bootstrapping yourself? I had an interesting conversation a couple of weeks ago with a couple of superstars on the Twitterverse, and we got into a rather, I wouldn't say heated, but it was a really serious conversation. So I said, you know what? Let's bring that on because, a lot of folks, as we talk about the Black community, they are bootstrapping. They are first generation wealth. Many times they don't have a college degree. Sometimes they don't have a high school degree. So many times, many folks are locked out of being able to bootstrap, but many are able to figure it all out. So let me know what you think. Put a comment in the chat. Let me know if you think you can bootstrap yourself to financial freedom. But today I got two superstars on, right? Two superstars. First one coming on. Y'all hear this young man in my lives all the time, Mr. Don Johnson. Gotta give him the horns. Thank you for joining us today, brother. You have been a fan, a watcher, a supporter for many, many years. I'm finally glad to get you on. And I think I'm the first one. But we got another superstar in the building as well, right? We got Mr. The Neighborhood Finance Guy. My man Lawrence is in the building. What's up, Lawrence?
What up, what up, what up?
He's like a really smart Twitter dude. Not just a Twitter dude. He's a really smart guy. And he's always causing problems on Twitter. So I definitely wanted to have him on. What's up, man?
What up, what up, what up, man? Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me in the space because I follow the show as well. Not as long as Johnson out here, but I've been there from the very beginning. Well, not the very beginning, but like 2 years ago. I was like, all right, this guy, is onto something. So I love your show, man.
I didn't know you were following that long. Thank you.
Yeah, I went back a couple episodes too. If I listen to somebody, I go back to kind of get a chance to like really get to see like how you came up from and all the, obviously the lighting was kind of like my lighting, terrible. But now you're actually looking real sharp.
Yes, my lighting sucked. Some days my lighting still sucks. So listen, lighting's hard, man. Lighting's hard. I'm gonna have to put somebody on staff and handle all this for me one day. But we had a great virtual Twitter dialogue talking about an article by talking about a woman that was interviewed, a Black woman that was interviewed, talking about bootstrapping doesn't make sense anymore. And to give it context, Lawrence actually posted it, went off, dragged it. Then I don't know who got there next, Don or me, but I was like, well, the lady's a PhD candidate. He was like, so what? It sucks. But just to get it started, let's add it a little more context. All right, so it starts off, post your personal finance take that will get you canceled. And the lady says low-income people are actually very financially literate. Folks just use financial literacy as an excuse to not address systems that perpetuate social economic inequality. What made you go off, Lawrence?
I already have a problem with this entire statement already. Because one, like I'm from Miami, Florida, man. I'm from the Miami-Dade County where people never made more than like $30,000 a year. Like I would know because my mom never made more than $30,000. I did her taxes all the way to retirement, and I look back at her Social Security stub, and she never made way more than that. She worked at Walmart. I know a lot of people, like my aunts worked at McDonald's. We worked like some real service, low-end jobs, and a lot of people they made some level of money and they knew how to somehow survive off of money, but they had no understanding of financial literacy. I think that's a stretch. When we start making that kind of like weird bombastic assertion, like, yeah, you know how to kind of stretch a dollar, doesn't mean that you understand how to really manipulate money in a way that goes beyond just how you use it to spend. So one of the guys I watch as well is Pocket Watching Jeff T. He even JT. He even like he explained, I guess his definition of financial literacy is both the knowledge of and also taking action. And by taking action, that means you're making your money do more than just spending it on things. That means you're utilizing to pay down your debt quicker, or you're even utilizing to buy assets, creating opportunities for you to actually make more money. So when we make these statements, low-income people are very financially literate, like they know how to use money in one way, but they're not as literate as you think they are. At least how this post pretends it to be. That's my first take.
Gotcha. Now, I'm going to put up the actual article real quick, and I want to get Don Johnson's take on this as well, because, he had a lot to say too. Now, Don is like this quiet storm because he be moving, but you never know when he's going to strike. And he had a whole lot to say that day. Had a whole lot to say. I was like, whoa.
Just surviving is not the definition of financial literacy. Just because you can survive doesn't mean anything. And when you also look at it, part of financial literacy is understanding at a certain point in time, like, I need to go above and beyond, do what I need to do to increase income. Like, you can't, those jobs are going to be necessary for a certain point in time in your life, but sometimes you got to be like, all right, what's the next step? What's the next, what skill, what certification, what can I do to better myself to move forward? That's also part of financial literacy. Financial literacy is understanding career capital, understanding career advancement, and moving forward. So just because you can survive off a lower income doesn't necessarily mean you're financially literate. But at the same time, because you have a lower income also doesn't mean that you're not financially literate. I think you have to look at each individual person for what they're doing with their money. You could have someone that's making, $25,000 a year, but for whatever reason, they work it out where they can save $300 a month for however way they can do that. And that may be better off than someone that makes 100, 150,000 that don't put nothing away. So at the end of the day, sometimes it just goes into play, like, what are you actually doing as an individual versus what your income says?
Well, y'all probably already know what I'm going to say. Y'all probably already know what I'm going to say. So let's
see where you land on this one.
What do you think?
I don't know. I figure you understand that, hey, financial literacy is way more than just, hey, how we survive off of money. That's where I think we all agree on, in my opinion. On top of that, like, we have to be honest with ourselves too as a Black community. There's probably, I think the last time I checked, there's less than 5,000 Black certified financial planners, to serve 40 million African Americans or Blacks in America. That's an insane probability. We just don't have it, dog. We don't have it. We have some people that do know how to use money functionally, but we have a lot more people that do not know how to use it. And by definition, the reason why we have so much check cashing stores in our communities that's really grifting the heck out of people, upward to 100, even 200% interest. That's not financial literacy. That's just pretty much your own self-made poverty, generational poverty at that point.
So what I would say, right? What I would say is that, well, one, y'all probably already noticed, I actually hate the term financial literacy because, one, it was kind of pimped by banks. Two, if you think about it, do anybody, like, literacy normally is associated with reading. Do you really just want somebody to just be able to read, kind of know their ABCs and maybe can put together a sentence or a structure, paragraph? No, you want them to be fluent in everything that they do. So what I like is not financial literacy, and I get this from my homegirl, Toni Morris, the legal diva. Shout out Toni. But she says we need to be financially fluent. And so it's not enough to just be able to regurgitate what a bank account is, what a CD is, what a brokerage account is, what a loan is. That's not enough. And just like y'all brought up JT earlier, right? You have to understand the theory behind it, but then put it into practice.